Hi, thanks for joining us. Today I want to share with you a 30-minute educational talk that we did with one of our corporate clients. It's all about meal prep. So go grab a pen and a paper, ready to take some notes, and let's jump right in. All right, welcome. Hi everybody. I am, I'm Kori and I'm excited to be bringing you to more content on the nutritional side. If you took my class last time, it was just a Nutrition 101 basic overview. Today we're going to take that a little bit deeper and learn how to meal prep healthfully. It can often feel like a daunting task, but meal prep is not just about making meals for the sake of having food ready in the fridge. We meal prep so we can spend more time with our family throughout the week, or save money instead of purchasing takeout all the time, or even just to support your health goals by planning your food so when push comes to shove, so when push comes to shove, you have all your food ready to eat and you don't have to think about it anymore. In meal prep, we are planning for our success, taking our health into our own hands and managing our time better so we don't say, I don't have time to be healthy. No, that's often a big excuse. People say they don't have time to eat healthy, but we want to plan our life accordingly so we can eat the healthy food that we desire. Life is hard, so let's make the decision to make at least one part of your life easier. So eating healthy and consistently can add that hard factor to our life, but we want to make that part just a little bit easier. By the time you get home from work, make dinner and eat it and clean up, it can almost feel like daunting the end of the night. All you want to do is relax and you just spent the entire evening cooking. Well, let's take that away. Let's use this tool to help simplify your life. You'll be prepping and planning based around your schedule, so you're not scrambling to get the food on the table when you want to just sit down and relax or play with your kids or do something else that's important for you. So as we go through this today, please know that there's not going to be one right way to do it. You need to find the best way that works for you. I'll give multiple ways that we can go about doing it. It may or not be spending your entire day, Sunday, in a kitchen. It could just be maybe spending 30 minutes of planning and prepping to make it easier to eat one meal or one meal slot easier throughout the week. I hope at the end of this talk that you will be able to visualize a starting point for creating a healthy food system available to you. Once it's planned and prepped, it takes the decision factor away, and all you have to do is just show up and eat. Doesn't that sound easy? So what is meal prep? Meal prep is a food planning method that simplifies cooking and bases it around your schedule. It's dedicating a block of time that you'll prepare meals for the week or partial ingredients ahead of time to make feeding yourself and your family easier. You're taking control of your time and then what you're eating. You're creating a meal, prepping a variety of ingredients that can be combined into various dishes quickly and easily. You can double or triple your favorite recipes, eat the same food several times throughout the week, or not. We'll kind of talk about what that looks like and how not to do that. So you're being intentional to have food ready for your breakfast, if that's your sticky point, for your lunch, or dinner when you get ready, or dinner when you get home. It can be as extensive, so you can have every meal planned out, or as simple as just making your breakfast in the morning. It doesn't have to be super hard. It doesn't have to be super extensive, like I said, but it can be super simple as well. Overall, it should make your life easier, giving you more time to do the things that you feel are more important, not spending time in the kitchen, not ordering a ton of takeout because that's taking up too much of your money and time. So why should you meal prep? Some people think like, well, is it just having a ton of food in my refrigerator? No, there are a few other benefits to it. It's a complete time saver. So instead of throughout the week you are steaming broccoli every night, you just do it once and you're cutting back on all those other days of cooking the exact same thing. It saves money, so you're not buying takeout all the time. You are actually portioning out, budgeting out your money, so you're not just using takeout all the time. You're also taking total control over what goes not just in your food, but also in your body. So you're really taking control over what you're putting in your body. I know that many of us at the beginning of the year have decided they want to reset, start to stay on track with their food. This is a great way to help focus on thinking and planning and setting yourself up for success. I know most of you over at Wyden have very hectic schedules. I know you guys are very busy, hard workers. So it takes the decision making out of the day. I know at the end of the day, we often have decision making fatigue. I'm like, I don't know what to have for dinner. I don't know what to have for lunch. Like, you've made so many decisions. This, you've already planned it out. You've already taken the guesswork out of it, and you know what you're going to eat for that day. So the ultimate goal of this is to maximize your health, the time, and your effort. So when you food prep, we're going to talk about food prep rituals. Like I said before, we start off, you want to figure out what's going to work for you and your family and your life, or what if you're single, however you're going to do it. So the typical first food ritual that you can think of is doing it all at once. It's like a Sunday ritual. People think about, you don't have to do it on Sunday. You can do it on any day that works for you. You dedicate 2 to 3 hours to do your shopping, to do your meal planning. So you 2 to 3 hours, you'll look ahead at your week. You'll see like, oh, maybe I have extracurricular activities with my kids in the evening on Thursday, so I need a plan for that day. Or maybe my lunches are always taken out because I'm so busy with meetings, so you look ahead at that day. So you just kind of you look ahead at your week, and you're like, when do I need meals? What are times where I have time to make meals? When are times when I'm just too busy and I end up just eating food I don't want to eat? And then after that, you build your general menu of what that looks like. You make your list. We're going to talk about how to build a menu, make a list. And then you start prepping and cooking. You figure out which meals for you are going to be easy to cook in the moment while you're at home or at work, or we're all at home at work, so maybe you are able to make your lunches here. Or instead, so you prep for those super busy times, and then you know that you can make them on your other times. The daily ritual is kind of a combination of both. So you have your Sunday ritual where you do your planning for the week, like you think about what you're going to eat, when you need help, when you need to prepare for, but you don't do everything on that day. So it's combined with the Sunday ritual of your grocery shopping, but then you also have daily rituals of doing it. So you'll maybe on your morning rituals, for example, you'll wake up in the morning and you'll already have prepped your salad items, like you've cut your veggies, you've cooked your meats on your Saturday, but on your Monday mornings, you end up just making your salad and setting it aside for your lunch or your sandwich or whatever it is. So you're prepping on Sunday for certain items, but then on the days of, you're doing extra items. So, or maybe for breakfast, your breakfast is a struggle for you. You've already, I don't know if this is a little trick, you've blended up instead of cracking eggs or scrambled eggs, you've cracked all your eggs, they've been blended up in the refrigerator, and then on your morning, all you do is you just take a scoop of them, like a ladle full of them, put them in your saute pan with some vegetables that you chopped up on Sunday. So you make a quick, ready, easy omelet because you've already prepped for it, but all you have to do is throw it in the pan. So that's kind of like a morning ritual. So it's your daily rituals. You've done your Sunday rituals, and then you break it up into your daily rituals on what's going to work best for you. Or maybe your mornings are super busy and you don't have time. So at dinner, so your dinner ritual, which is part of your daily ritual, you make extra portions of your dinner to save them for the following day for lunch. So that's just an example of your food prep rituals, what that would look like. So you have, again, your Sunday or your Saturday, maybe it's your Friday night, whenever you have extra time to plan out your week, think about what you need, and then building your menu, grocery shopping, and just prepping for it. And then your daily ritual, just to recap, is then you just do the smaller things to put your meals together on the day of. But when I go into the steps, we'll get a better idea of what that looks like for you. All right. So there are multiple types of meal prep. I know when I first thought of meal prep, I think about having your individual portions of your meals for that you can just grab and go, which is one way to do it, which is great. But there's some other ones. There's 4 different types, which I'm going to show you, break them down. There's full make-ahead meals, batch cooking, individual portion meals, which most people think about, and then prepped ingredients. So full make-ahead meals are they're entire meals that you store in your fridge or your freezer. If you have little time to prepare during the week, you'll cook these complete meals in advance. So as you see in these Ziploc bags, these ones are just an example. They're not cooked, but they're all prepared. So you would just pull that bag out, and the day of, you would cook it, and it'd be quick and easy meal that you can have, or you can put it in your Instapot or your crock pot. So you have prepped that full meal for the day. You can keep them in your refrigerator if you have a lot of time on your Sunday ritual and you want to make for a few weeks. You can freeze them and then you just pull them out, don't have to worry about it. Those are great way to do it. Another way is batch cooking. So these are making big recipes or multiple meals of individual things and stored for later. For example, so in this picture you'll see you've prepped your cauliflower, you have your grains, like that's bulgur, some kale, you've cut your mushrooms. These are just things that you've prepped in big items, or even the other picture you see in this bottom, in the they have their peas and their corn, everything that's kind of prepped in advance. And so then you can put these things together to create your meal. So you have a lot of things, different items separate, so you can throw things together. Like you can mix your cauliflower, if you look at that picture, cauliflower, your bulgur, your kale, and then some of your sauce for a full bowl. In the picture, I would maybe have some beans or something just to add some protein, because in the picture there's no protein. We need protein at every meal. Oh, there's some cashews in there. You could top those on top of it too. So that's batch cooking. You're creating big recipes, big batches of things, so you can piecemeal your things together to create a single menu item for yourself. The next two, first one is an individual portioned meals. This is what most people think about. You make your large portions, you divvy them up into containers ahead of time. So in this picture, they've made obviously a large portion of rice, they've roasted their broccoli, cooked their chicken, and then they split them up into 4 containers throughout the week with their peanut sauce. So you have your lunch, or that could be your dinner, breakfast. You can have chicken for breakfast. And so you have it ready for you. You just grab and go. You don't have to think about anything. That's just individual portion meals. But also what's really great about individual portion meals, especially if you have specific health goals, is it takes away the factor of being able to eat too much, or so you're portioning it out, so you're eating the right amount of protein for yourself. If you remember on our last talk, we did talk about the proper portion sizes, so you can do your 2 pumpfuls of protein if you're a male, or your handful of carbs. So if that would be help you have the right amount of portions for whatever your health goals are. If you're trying to lose weight, put on muscle, you can have it right there and don't have to think about it later as the day approaches. The final one are prepped ingredients. So this is for people who like to cook and you don't maybe always want to reheat or eat food that has been prepared a few days ago. Instead, you prep your food on maybe your Sunday ritual, or maybe you do it on a daily basis. In the morning, you just kind of cut up all your vegetables, or you soak your grains, or maybe you cook your grains in the morning. So then when the meal comes, then you can just quickly throw it all in a pan and make it all at once, rather than having to eat day-old food. Some people don't mind reheating food. Some people don't like to do that. So it's just that would be an easier way again. Or if you have a little bit more time, but you want to just make your life a little bit easier. This, I think, would be more into a daily ritual than what you would do. So now that we talked about that, we're going to go into steps for meal prepping. So that was a lot. It can feel like a daunting task sometimes to think about meal prepping, like, oh my goodness, there's all these different types of things. Where do I even begin? So the point of meal prepping, though, is to make your life, like I said, a little bit easier. Right now, it may seem a little bit overwhelming. So what you want to first start with is start super simple. Start with 1 meal slot for the week. Pick one where you struggle the most and decide that's where you want to start, where you want to focus. So 1 meal slot, meaning like maybe it's breakfast, or maybe it's lunch or dinner. Think about your struggles. Where do you need to feel more in control, more healthy, and freer in your food eating? So an example would be, are you always snoozing through your alarm and you don't have time, so you don't have time to make breakfast? You could on your Sunday, whip up a batch of homemade protein bars. So you can just grab them out of your refrigerator. You don't even have to think about it. You can push snooze, but you have breakfast planned. Or maybe you do have time for breakfast, but you want to make your breakfast healthier. Maybe you're always eating a bowl of sugar cereal just because it's quick and easy, but you want to have a more nourishing breakfast. Instead, you can maybe you make an egg casserole that you made on Sunday and you just portion it up into squares, and then you have your egg casserole, have your protein with some good carbs and fats in it, and you have a healthier breakfast. So maybe that's where you are struggling, is your breakfast. You don't eat well breakfast. Or maybe you end up eating out for lunch far too much. You're like, I need to save money. I need to know more what's going to my body, not just a quick, easy out. So I'm going to focus on my lunches. So maybe you're going to make your mason jar salads, or salads in a mason jar, which I'll show you about those if you haven't seen those. They're quite handy. You can put them together in the morning, and then you'd have your lunch ready that day. So that could be your pain point. Or finally, maybe you work really long hours and you just want to come home, eat food, and crash for the night. Or instead of ordering that pizza that you end up doing because you can't think about what to eat, you just know you love pizza, so that's what you're going to do. So, but maybe that's where you want to tackle that challenge and start coming up with, how can I plan out my week to have healthy, nutritious dinners without having to take up a ton of time because you've had busy, hectic schedule. So you want to tackle a challenge or they like to call them pain points. What is your hardest? Where's your weakness? And let's start there. And then we'll move from there. We want to start simple. Eventually you can add more meals to your week, but for now, start with one meal slot. When you start thinking about foods that you're going to prep, before I go to step two, these are just some basic items that you can think about prepping. Some foods work better and some foods don't work as well. This slide mostly just has vegetables, fruits, and grains. So frozen vegetables are a super handy thing to use. You can pull them out of the freezer, cook them super fast. You don't have to prep them. Most of the time they're prepped for you. Starchy vegetables, parsnips, potatoes, sweet potatoes, butternut squash, acorn squash, those are all great items that you can prep in advance. You can cut them up and cook them in advance, or you can cut them up and wait and cook them the day of. When you do fresh vegetables, you want to think of a little bit more stiffer vegetables. Celery is a great one that you can prep, even if it's just for like celery sticks, you can cut them up for a snack. Carrots, bell peppers, cabbage for slaws. When you use greens, you want to use more sturdy greens. Romaine is a good sturdy green. Green leaf is okay I'm thinking about making salads, but I would not suggest making a prep salad on Sunday for your lunch on Friday, because they might start getting a little wilty. So that's where you have to kind of plan out and think like what's going to last long, what's not. And then some grains, oats, quinoa, barley, buckwheat. You can all cook these all in advance, and they'll hold for the week and they'll be great. And then whole fruits, I would suggest those are some great fruits that you can. I wouldn't cut them again on Sunday if you do your Sunday prep, but I would set them aside or distribute them so you know you've planned it out, and then cut them that morning of or whatnot. The next slide is protein. I know in our last my nutritional talk last time, we had a lot of questions on protein, so I just kind of want to set this one aside so you can kind of look at different protein options. When you think about, you really want to try to have protein at every meal. It'll really help satiate you, keep you full till your next meal. So just some example of protein things to think about. Fresh or frozen seafood is a great protein option. Eggs, great protein option. Any dairy, if you do dairy, non-dairy options aren't full of protein. They have a little bit, but they're not like high in protein. But unsweetened Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, those are good protein options. And then non-meat would be a tofu. And then back to your chicken, turkey, beef, and pork. Those are some good protein options. Beans and legumes have a great source of protein and carbs. So chickpeas, lentils, black and navy beans, these are ones that you can prep. You can buy them in the cans, which is totally fine. Cans are great, but also if you meal prep, and it'll be better for your digestive system as well. Some people struggle with beans and lentils, but if you cook them properly, your body can utilize them better. So soaking them and then cooking, just random side note, if you struggle with beans, try to soak them and then pressure cook them. And finally, nuts and seeds. There's a variety of nuts and seeds. These are just a small little list. almonds, walnuts, peanuts, pumpkin seeds, and chia and flax seeds. They actually have a good amount of protein. Like in 1 tablespoon, you have a few grams, which is great. So those are just some things foods that you can think about meal prepping. I'll go into a little bit more recipes as we go. So right here we can find, then we want step number 2, we want to find the recipes that you want to use. Rely on some tried and true recipes that you've cooked before, maybe with 1 or 2 new recipes thrown in. So keep things simple for the first time to save you time, especially as you're getting used to this new ritual. So you can see I did a little spreadsheet on here just to see that you don't have to do anything fancy. There are great meal planner apps. Any list, these are ones I've looked up and I saw that had good reviews. Mealime, Yumly, those are they'll help you plan out your meals, grocery lists, all that kind of stuff. But so find recipes, map out your week. So this is an example of what you could do. So for me, maybe Monday through Friday, I just want to stick with a simple breakfast. So I'm going to make my overnight oats. And then I'm going to chop up fresh fruit every morning to go on top of them. So that's my breakfast. I'm going to prep those. We'll talk about how to break down to prep. And then for lunch, I'm going to do spiced chickpea bowls, easy peasy. Just put them together. And then dinner, I'll kind of throw in a few different things, but I will have a few things prepped out. So I've listed out what I want to do for dinner that week. Friday, let's say you'd like to go out at night on Friday, so you're not going to plan that. And then snacks. You set your snacks in stone. You'll portion them out, and so you don't have to think about going and getting a Snickers bar or going to that cafe and always buying your afternoon cookie. You've already planned out your snacks. So that's what. And then when you think about recipes too, you also want to consider: do they keep well in the refrigerator? Is it okay for them to stay that long, all the way through Friday? Would a spiced chickpea bowl? I think it would, because chickpeas hold up fine. Anyways, so that would be something to consider when you do it, and just thinking, can it reheat well, or maybe you don't have a microwave when you take your food if you are doing your lunches. Is it okay to eat lukewarm or not? So that's finding your recipes, mapping out your week, just getting a general idea of what days you need to prep for, what days you don't need to prep for. And then I said Saturday and Sunday, I'm not going to worry about food prep. We're at home, I can make whatever I would feel like, or it's your reward days and you just decide to just eat whatever you feel like. So these are just ideas of things, just to give a general idea of what that could look like. So meal prep for breakfast, maybe you make a batch of, these are quinoa blueberry muffins, which are delicious. Maybe this middle one are some oats. It's not overnight oats. Overnight's already soaked. These are just portioned out oats. So you would just dump it in a saute pan with some water and heat it up, or in the microwave with some water or milk and heat it up. So you have your oatmeal. If you have kids and they love pancakes, instead of portioning out pancakes all the time, you can make a sheet pan of pancake. This is kind of cool. And then you just cut them up. Super simple. You pour your batter in, cook it, and your kids have pancakes for breakfast. Super simple that way. These are some ideas for lunch. The bottom left, you see that mason jar salad. These are great because we have to layer them properly. You always want to put like your heavier items or your wetter items on the bottom, your dressing, and then your meats, and then your vegetables. This is a pasta salad. It has some pasta in it. Always greens on top so they don't get too soggy. And then if you do a little cheese, that's great too. And then you can dump it into a bowl, super easy, and stir it up, or you can shake it up and just eat it out of the jar. The top one is like an egg frittata. So you have your good protein option. So you've baked it, it has vegetables, it has eggs, you cut it up, then you can just bring like a pie slice of it in your lunch with like maybe a little salad or whatever you do. And then on the right, bowls are like a go-to easy option for meal prep because you can make your batch ingredients. So this one's quinoa, broccoli, and some sausage. So you just can split up your portions. You've already cooked your quinoa, cooked your broccoli, cooked your sausage, all good to go. And finally, some meal prep for dinner. These are just, you could do an Instant Pot of red lentil dal with some rice that you've prepped all on Sunday, and then you just can have it divvied up, or you can do it the day of. Just, it's a quick, easy meal. You could do a one sheet pan meal. That's a picture of salmon with vegetables, teriyaki vegetables, all cooked at once. One sheet wonder. And then the last one you would do is like a pulled pork taco. So you would cook your pulled pork either on your Sunday, or maybe it's all prepped on Sunday and you just put it in the slow cooker in the morning, and then you just shred it up with some veggies on top of your tortilla shell. So after you've decided your menu, Then you want to take stock and make a list. So you want to look, what do you need? So you'll see in my inventory items from what I kind of showed you before. And again, this is just a spreadsheet that you can do at home, or you can use an app, which is helpful too. So I just made a list of the things I need in each item. So with my oats, what I would need, chickpeas, what I would need, and so forth. And then you want to make your grocery list according to, well, you could take that inventory of items. I'm like covering up, but you can't really see I'm covering up. So you could take your inventory of items and take that as your grocery list. Easy to do it that way. Or to make your grocery shopping more efficient, you want to break down the grocery store. So all your produce items, your pantry items, your meat items, frozen, bulk, and etc. So then you can just go into that one area, this is what I need, and then go move on. So those are different ways that you can take stock, make a grocery list, just to help keep time, be more time efficient when you're grocery shopping and making sure you're getting everything you need. But always, you want to make a running inventory of the food you frequently use. If you're always cooking with olive oil, always make sure you check for that. Rice, butter, etc. Just some of those staple items. And then finally, you want to pick a day that you're going to, and the ritual that you're going to do to complete your tasks. So going back to the items that I had, I took that same meal prep plan that I had, and then at the bottom, I just put a list of just a basic prep for the day. So Sunday would be my major day, where I go and I cook my chicken for my evening meals. I hard boil my eggs, which I'm going to use for snacks. I make my overnight oat jars so they're in the refrigerator already. I cook my bulgur, but I'm going to keep it in a big container because I might just, each morning I'm going to divvy up my spiced chickpea bowls. I spice up my chickpeas and I saute my kale, which is going to go with it. And then every morning, all I know is I need to slice my avocado to put it in. So if you can look at that and you can just see that, like, these are my small tasks that I need to do in the morning to prep for the day. So this is, again, just, you can take a calendar, super easy like that, and map it out. But just a reminder, it does feel daunting. Pick one meal slot to start with, and where you need the most help, and just stick with that and go from there. Build upon it as you become more comfortable in it. Final tips and tricks. These are just some little things that I kind of threw together just to kind of maybe help you think. You need definitely 110%. You need good storage containers if you're going to meal prep. These are a variety of storage containers that you can choose from. I love the I love the Snapware ones. One, they don't spill. They're glass, so you can reheat them. Avoid plastic, because you should not be reheating it in plastic. Mason jars are great. Good for portion control with mason jars. The stainless steel ones are really good. You can't put them in the microwave, but you can keep your ingredients separate then. Just if some people don't like different foods to touch each other, so you can keep them separate. You can have separate storage containers there as well, where you can cut up your veggies so they don't cross flavor each other. And then finally, Ziploc bags are a must if you're going freezer-friendly Ziploc bags if you're going to make full meals and need to friend them. So those are some grocery list items. Storage containers that you should keep on hand if you're going to do this. Remember, have plenty. Otherwise, you're going to have this food and not know what to do with it because you don't have a place to keep it. Then just a few points. Don't make too much. If you make too much, you have leftovers, you're just going to end up throwing it away. So really make according to what you need. But also know that your meats, if you do proteins, they don't last as long. So only 3 to 4 days for a meat. Fish 1 to 2 days unless you freeze them. So I wouldn't necessarily suggest cooking on Sunday food like a salmon that you decide to eat on Friday. That wouldn't be very good. I would save that either for cook in the morning or another day or closer to the Friday. And then keep ingredients separate because some of them can flavor one another unless you're going to, obviously you don't mind, or you're going to do it in the morning, or you can get those the storage containers that separate one another with compartments, and then they can be in the same container but not flavor each other. And then the one reason I really like to use a variety of meal components, because you can have very good meal flexibility, is you have 3 main components. So say you cook some quinoa, some ground turkey, and some roasted vegetables. So you have those big 3. You can make a variety of things as long as you have little staple items. So for example, you can make a salmon salad with some quinoa and a few vegetables thrown in with that. Or you could even, say you finish off the salmon and it's the end of the week and you still have your quinoa and your veggies, maybe you have canned beans in the refrigerator or in your cupboard. I don't keep canned beans in the refrigerator. And then you just put it into a skillet and you saute it with some cheese and you've got a great meal. So it allows more flexibility if you have a variety of meal components. These are just some little tips. You can season meat multiple ways using one pan. As an example, you can see you have different flavors, but you're just all in one pan cooking it at once, so you don't have to do multiple things. But notice they're all the same size, so if you're going to cook meat, make sure they're the same size so one doesn't cook more than the other. If you do smoothies, different ways that you can do your smoothies, you can prep them in a bag and then just throw the bag in the blender, or the ingredients from the bag in the blender, or you can actually blend it all up and put it in a muffin tin, and then you can just take out this one or two and then let it thaw in your jar, and there you have a smoothie for yourself without having to actually take it all out. Chop or spiralize your vegetables in advance. This will really save time. If you just take one time to cut up all the vegetables that you bought for the week, you have saved a ton of time there. You can make your portions crystal clear. If you are struggling with your sizes and stuff, or how much you're feeding yourself, you can portion them out and you know, I only have this size for my snack and that's all I'm going to eat, because if I don't, then if I eat more than that, then I'm going to run out and I'm not going to have snacks for the end of the week. Use muffin tins to make breakfast frittatas. So this is the way that you can do eggs. Finally, if you always roll with some protein-rich snacks, protein will keep your hunger at bay, which makes a perfect choice for a snack. So you can make this on your Sunday ritual and have them in the refrigerator for the week, and you're not tempted to reach for something that you shouldn't be eating or won't help you with your goals. So after hearing all of this, if you're like, oh man, this is a lot, I don't think I'm really ready to do meal planning, there's other options for you too. You know that the grocery stores have great grab and go options, so you can help plan yourself with grab and go, or meal delivery services are really great too. These are some that some of my clients have told me they've used and they've liked. So the top 4 are some good meal delivery services. If this meal prep thing seems like there's too much hassle, but I really want to eat healthy, so you're going to make a plan to eat delicious, nourishing meal rather than choosing a regrettable fast food option. Blue Apron and One Potato are great. They'll send you, like you see on the picture, they'll send you all the items, the recipes. All you have to do is put it together. So it's kind of like taking away the meal prep option for you. And then One Potato is another company that I've heard does great things. So just another option if you're like, oh, this isn't really for me, but it's great information. So we're going to wrap up. Now, finally, the good news about all this is meal prepping overall, if you get in a rhythm, it will help alleviate stress, give you more time to do things you want, and help you achieve your goals. It will really help you if you can really set aside the time. Here's a fun quote. If you don't have a plan and leave your food choices to chance, chances are those choices will stink. So if you don't plan it out, most likely you're not going to make the change that you want, and you're going to end up eating things that you probably regret. So let's just embrace this learning process to help simplify. This is to hopefully simplify your routine and lifestyle, improve your health, save time and money. So that's wrapping up for the meal prep. If anybody has any questions, yes?
Would you say that freezing food lowers its nutritional value at all?
I would no. Actually, freezing it is most likely will preserve the nutritional value. So I would say if you don't mind freezing it, by all means, you can throw it in the freezer. Like they often say frozen vegetables are actually have more nutritional value because they're frozen, kept rather than going old. As something sits longer, so if you've cooked a meal or you cut up vegetables on a Sunday, as it goes longer, it will depreciate. Unless you freeze it, then you keep it, and it keeps fresher longer. Did I answer your question? Thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned how to make eating healthy that much easier for you. Remember to subscribe to our channel and like this video if you did. Leave feedback. We're always looking for new fun content to share with you, and we look forward to seeing you next time.